It's your boy. I just had to make sure you smile because your energy was whack.
Wow.
It's your boy.
Okay, cut. Can we start?
Ain't no cut.
Here we go.
Yo. It's your girl, Misha Dex.
And your boy, Keymon.
I even said your boy better. I don't even like the way that sounds on you. I think it sounds better on me.
Is it because of the Scarface sweater?
You know what?
You're talking to me.
Say hello
to
my little friend. I only got two things. My word and my boss.
Need that sponsorship, y'all.
Nah, but for real, I really do. I really wanted to start off with a way to try to make you smile. I know life been hitting you, and we ain't got to go in deep, but I just got to make sure our energy is always top tier, regardless of the way life be hitting us. Life hit me too.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not how to use motherfuckers as punching bags. I tell you that.
But you know what it means. That means you're being led to something bigger to happen and unfold for you.
And like the skin is getting tougher. Like right, like on my drive, I was like, God, just thank you.
And that's what I swear. That's what I was about to say. Just don't forget to thank him, even in the hard times.
Yeah,
we forget that.
Yeah, no, it's
I'm happy to hear you say that.
No, and again, man, it's almost like, I just really take the humble approach about everything because I never want to get too high, I never want to be too low. But I also take the time to feel the feels, and and as life has been moving, it's just like, okay, like what is it? What is it? What is life teaching me in this moment?
Right.
And I think my answer to that, because it's just like, it's never going to seem settled.
And that's the thing. It's not. And we got to get better at asking the right questions in the face of adversity, right? Like, I just went away this past week to go to Memphis, and something hit me heavy. I went to the National Civil Rights Museum, and it didn't dawn on us that we was there 3 hours. That's how dope and impactful the museum was. But what was crazy, an hour or so in, I got thirsty. And for whatever reason, I felt it would have been rude to complain about being thirsty while I was watching the monument of Rosa Parks, and they replicated a bus and had her statue in it. And I got to sit behind her on the bus. And then I went to the back of the bus. And it's crazy because for some reason, kids of color go to the back of the damn bus to sit there. Yeah. And you think about all that we fought for the turnaround to be this.
Yeah, it's always
right.
It's always the reverse.
Right. And then I went to the part of the museum where they talked about, Brown versus education, and talking about the segregation of education for blacks, and watching these little girls marching in the school and the police is escorting them in, and looking at it like, but yeah, we was ditching. Like all those different things. So what am I getting at? I'm getting at the fact that, shut up. Can you mind your See what I'm saying? We're gonna cut. This is gonna be the last episode. Because I'm gonna go back to school and I'm gonna cut him off. But still, I will say this. I real talk, we always are honest. One of the conversations that came up when I was looking at that is, there's a part of me that feels like I'm a disservice because I didn't go finish higher education, right? But then I think about, I got more impact than a lot of fools that got PhDs and masters, because and I'm not promoting that you don't go back to school. What I'm saying is you never stop learning and teaching. And I found a way to do both. Yeah. And it's not the traditional route, but I can sit at the table with just about anybody.
Yeah. And I think that's big. Obviously, I taught, was a teacher in college prep and everything like that. So I thought I saw the ins and outs of everything. but also understanding that it doesn't dignify who you are.
Oh, most definitely.
Like it's just another thing to add to the tool bag if you need it. And I also feel that you outshine 90% of the room based on who you are in that energy because of how you're able to.
This is a compliment. Ladies and gentlemen, pause. Right now, you are about to witness something that has never. I'm just playing. No, I feel you. I know you were stuck on the word too, but like,
yeah, mark that down. That was a compliment. That was a compliment. But what inspired the trip?
So Memorial Weekend, my mother passed away 29 years ago, and I made a deal with myself that I will not sit and wait to be in these good spaces, that I need to create them. And so one of the things I remember growing up, while other kids had spring break and they was doing field trips and stuff, we did stuff, but we had to read books. Mm-hmm. And so we would have to give a report. Summer break, spring break, holiday break. We had all these back cultural books that we had to read, or the dictionary. Mm. You pick the letter and you read the dictionary, and you give a report on what you did throughout the day while she was at school. My mom went to school while we were in school as well. So anyway, I remember Beale Street, like the movie, and all the different things that have come up. And I was like, well, I had goals. I wanted to go and be a part of a space that was hospitable. I wanted that Southern hospitality. And I thought about Wanda. And I was like, this is where I want to go. And so I had goals. I wanted Memphis barbecue. I wanted to do the National Rights Museum. I wanted to have that authentic hospitality. And boy, did I get it. And it came with so much dopeness, because one thing about energy, as you said, when you put it out there, you get it back. Like I was getting treated to stuff based on interactions with owners in a store. Yeah. But anyway, that was the biggest piece.
Do you feel like that's the difference between here and other states? It's like we haven't, that opportunity doesn't allow itself to happen in terms of that type of, because I've always wanted to be, I guess, like have a local bar that I walked in, they knew my name, knew my order, but
and not because you were alcoholic.
Exactly. But I just feel like it's hard.
I made a point, and I said it this weekend over in Memphis. California reminds me of the Black race, because everybody just came here. History has been stripped. We're just pieces of the history. But when you go places where authenticity of Blackness was there, like originated, like when the slaves came, they settled where? In the South. And so I feel like, I really do feel like the deeper South we go, the richer it is as far as that cultural piece. There's them hit and misses. Like I have some family that's in, Shreveport, Louisiana, that look at the California family like, y'all think y'all better. It comes with its flaws. But for the most part, I do believe that Southern hospitality is real. And when I say that was literally on my checklist, and when I experienced it in a way that I can't verbally really explain how I felt. Like we went to, so in Memphis they have the biggest bass store. It's in a pyramid. We get there and we're taking pictures in the lobby or whatever. So we finally get to the entry point of the big store. And the lady, the greeter, was there. And she said, welcome to Pro Bass. Thank you for coming. I said, thank you for having us. She paused. She said, come here. Where you from? I said, Cali. She said, you so nice. I said, ma'am, it was on my new checklist to make sure I have the best experience with hospitality here. She was like, I like you. I said, what's your name? She said, Teresa. I said, come here, auntie. And now I'm hugging her, right? And she gifted us passes to get on to this elevator that you have to pay for to go to the very top of the pyramid, just to look at the city. And it wasn't like a gold chain. It wasn't a brand new car, but it was something that she could give that made our day, because her day was made just for saying, Thank you for having us.
Yeah, the power of words.
Yeah, and so that it was a lot of that going on, but it was a lot of richness, and I won't use this whole episode to talk about the what I got out of Memphis, but I will say the takeaway is no matter where it is, Memphis, New York, California, just show up and with the best intentions, because you will get it back. Maybe not from everybody, but it definitely will play a part in how your experience goes wherever you go.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like, and it's about you too, right? Like how you show up, how you open up, and how you make others feel. Because I just feel like we're all walking around with this, with this joy that's bottled up that we want to share, or this level of, damn, I need someone's opinion about this.
Right. So then you start questioning.
And then you start questioning. And that's the power of like, people are like, damn, you share everything. And I'm like, yeah, because it's like when I'm going through something, just say for instance in my relationship, and I share with the homies, and they tell me what they're going through, I'm like, oh shit, my shit ain't that bad. And not about preparing it,
right,
but also understand, like, again, we all
do that. Yeah. But not only that, yeah. I wanna go back just to dial when you brought up the joy piece, and then seeking like that clarification, or you needing people to kind of affirm you. So I'm gonna tell you, I told you when you first came, I said, yo, I cried in therapy today. I was dead serious. Yeah. Because while on the plane, I had to be up at 3 a.m. While on the plane, I don't know why it hit. I got a gig the day before to MC this Department of Children and Family Services Foster Youth Conference. I don't know why it didn't hit when I put in the paperwork, when I got asked to do it, when I got the paperwork signed. Literally on the plane, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, nowhere to do nothing but sit in it. As clear as day, I heard my conscience say, what if I told you 29 years ago I was about to become a file in the DCFS case? Meaning my mom was on her transitioning period to go, and I was about to be put in foster care. Now, 29 years later, I am a case file, but because I filed my EIN business number, now I'm a vendor for DCFS. So that it hit me, and I broke down crying, and I was telling my therapist, I was like, why haven't it never been that clear before?
So can I be personal?
Oh, just
no. No. So episode 1 or season one, we talked about your relationship with your dad. Fast forward to today, talking about being in foster care. How did you end up with foster care with your dad being around?
I know exactly where you're going with that. My mom and dad was beefing. My mom and dad, I'm gonna share this, and this probably gonna hit the ground.
Oh, did I get that straight?
No, I mean, it's not. No, it's one thing about me. I can't be ashamed of other people's decisions, right? Yeah. And that's another thing we do. We carry other people. I'm not carrying. I got my own stuff. I'm just saying.
Can we get that? On the show? We gonna get that on the show.
I was trying to flip me, y'all. Somebody call people. No, like I don't want to carry his shame, but it's a part of my story. It's a part of the truth. So my mom and my dad were beefing. So literally 2 weeks before she passed, my mom was already at a point where the cancer had really, taken over, and so she couldn't do stuff like hang up the phone, pick up the phone. So when the phone would ring, me and my brother would either run in and put the phone on speaker or hold it for her. This particular time, some stuff had already happened, and the phone was on speaker, and he called to confront her, and he told her he couldn't wait for the croak. Oh. And they was already beefing, and that was just like So what she did was she made sure that my brother that was living at the time, not living with at the time, he went to his godparents, and then she made it set up to where I would go to a godmom for me, and that's a whole nother story why I didn't end up going there, but it was set in stone where she didn't want us to go to him because they beef was so heavy. And one thing about it, I never got in between they beef. Yeah. Like I would see stuff. I just, I wasn't that kid because I used to be like, y'all both tripping. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? So that's why that didn't happen. But when I did go into foster care, and I started seeing how my dad was showing up, I was like, I want to go be with my family. So that's why I'm one of the first kids to get emancipated at 16, met with the judge, told them through my words that I was ready. I was ready to go be emancipated. And it was like, you know what that means? Like, you will no longer be. And I was like, yeah.
And it's crazy because as you sit here and, you share that moment, it took me back to my days in the courtroom. And it was like, they were asking me that I want to go back with my mom. I was like, no. But they were asking my sister, and she said yes. And and it just like it just took me back to them, that moment where it was just like I had a granny who really stepped up. Like,
man.
And it didn't have much, didn't have extra means, was waiting on the 1st and the 15th and food stamps, like we had it all. Right. Like, so it's not like she took it in, and we lived in a 1-bedroom with my uncles and grandpa. Like, so it wasn't like anything.
The love wasn't missing.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that people, when I have other friends from other cultures and they do that, they live in the same proximity, right? And they have the best bond. I ain't saying drama don't exist for them. I ain't saying stuff don't be happening, but they get through it better. And I'll put myself out there. I feel like that's what's wrong with me. I just walk away from everything.
Do you feel like that's a cop-out? Or
I won't say,
because it's a difference, right? Because we talked about it's protecting peace,
right?
But then sometimes it still becomes a thought, and your thought process is part of the piece.
But this is the thing. I would say it's a cop-out if I didn't show up everywhere else in my life. I show up for my folks. I don't have a problem showing up. Matter of fact, sometimes I over show up, I think, because I get caught in the routine of it. But I can understand how someone's lens will say, oh, that's a cop-out, because they ain't never had to step away. Everybody don't have the strength to walk away. Everybody don't have the means to walk away. For me, I don't need the strength or the means. I will rebuild. Whether that's rebuilding strength, rebuilding the means, rebuilding the bonding with people. I've just learned that being a cancer survivor myself, why give people the remote control to control any emotion you have when you're trying to just stay on? Like, why would I give that to you? And you're not handling it properly. And so sometimes you have to walk away, and people are going to define it for you regardless. They're going to define it because that's them leaning on their own understanding. I had a conversation with a sibling recently who told me I was dumb. I mean, my decision to walk away from family was dumb. And I said, you don't get to label that. And I was like, and then to go deeper, I was like, why don't you say what I'm being dumb about? Name it. Name my trauma for me. And when you name my trauma, then I want you to look at your face and see what you just said was dumb. But anyway, I just needed to go back a dial just to kind of tap into the way that we try to get affirmed, but then sometimes we got to stand firm. And we don't give ourselves enough credit for all that we've overcome. Like you being a parent, knowing that your biological parents couldn't do it for you, and you're still trying to master something that you didn't have, but in reality you did. You had it through your granny. And I think that's the part that makes you such a dope parent, because you took what resources you had and you've created it in your own way. And then I look at the fact that I've been in survival mode and I'm a survivalist, but at the end of the day, I'm also still trying to figure out me.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question too, or my next question is that you spoke about a remote and controlling emotions or whatever the case may be. But what channel do you want to see that flip? What's the next channel that flips for you? What does that channel look like? What does that page look like? In other
So
words,
I feel like I'm in a happy space. I want to be in comedy.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, for real, me out. For real though. For real. No, I want to be. That's the thing. You don't have just one channel, right? We have Netflix and all these apps for a reason because we want to be able to flip between whether it's going to be comedy, romance. I'm a documentary buff myself. So there's not one channel. I just want to have the right to change it according to what I'm feeling, and not someone flipping on me while I'm in a horror scene and I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell just happened? Because I don't have no control of what's next, but I want to be able to control what's next.
What's my level of like? What's my level of like get on your nerves? Like how far do I get?
No, I always exceed you because you kicked me out your house, bro. Like, I just never. I cannot to this day. People be like, "You're so funny." I said, and I bring up that moment. I'm like, "Am I?" Because I got kicked out for being too funny. Is there a limit? And then I was so sad for you, not even me. I came back and hid behind the door to make sure you was okay. Like, so I don't think the thing is this. I know you. I know my friends. I really specialize in my friendships. So it's not that you ever get to a level where you just I just cuss you out. I be like, shut the hell up. And then I say, and then guess what? And then I don't hang up without saying I love you. And then I call you, what you doing? What you got going on? Yeah. So it's not one of those things where I feel like you could ever get me there where I won't come back. Just know I'm gonna cuss you out. And then you gonna do this.
That's fair.
And then you but you on the other end, I think I teeter between termination.
Hey, at least you got kicked out. You know it's real.
I'm coming back. Yes. I'm still waiting on my
you got kicked out. You in the lockbox. No, I hear you. No, it's just just kind of just as you telling that story and for me, as much as I sit here and say like I'm so grounded, I'm so aware, I'm
you on the ground.
Yeah. I still need to figure out why I get off my game or based off words and
because that's your trauma.
Yeah. But see, I see you.
You ain't looking at me. Look at me.
But I'm still trying to figure out what was the trauma that actually. And I don't even know if it's trauma though. To be honest with you.
But think about this before you say that.
Maybe
we block out a lot of stuff.
Yeah. No, I think it was just my desire to, I guess, go so hard or make it so bad. So maybe that is your trauma, right?
Yeah, it's trauma. It's a trauma response. Like, it's not like you walk around mad. You get mad when people say the wrong things that you don't expect them to say. Or like when I call you out on stuff, I'd be like, yo, we said X, Y, and Z and you doing it. And then you'd be like, man, and I'd be looking like, okay, I knew you was gonna respond that way.
First of all,
shut up. Let me finish.
I never smell it. Go ahead.
Your chin be like this. And you be like, man, shut the hell up. No, but I think
this is over. Are we done?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, I got more to say. It's been a while.
All right, go ahead.
But no, back to the words hurting your feelings or causing you to react a certain way. I think depending on who it is, you hold them to a high regard. Mm-hmm. And so when certain people say stuff, it hits different than a stranger. Mm. And also, I do believe you've blocked out a lot of your childhood trauma because that's how you survived all this time. The fact that no one can look at you and be like, oh, Keymon grew up with this type of environment. No one would ever know that.
Yeah.
Like, even when people was like, so how do y'all know each other? I'd be like, do I tell them like this story? Because like,
yeah.
But we were both in foster care, and you know what? Let me just shout this out. Even though this is gonna air in June, this is the last week of Foster Care Awareness Month.
Oh, wow.
And how authentic was it for us to bring up our foster care experience to a certain extent, right? Yeah. But it made me. It made me who I am. Yeah. And now I go hard for foster youth, or youth in general. Yeah. But the underdog, we were once the underdog. And it was somebody sitting in the shoes that I'm in, making sure that me, when I got to where I got, had all the resources I needed. Just like your education. Yeah. You know, our housing. We met in a housing facility for students and workers that were foster youth that were trying to better their lives. Like, we did something.
I didn't pay no rent. I got lucky. Like, really shout outs to United Friends of the Children, because I didn't pay no rent, and the entire time, because I feel like, because I was the only one at a 4-year during that time, they gave me a little bit of grace. Right. But yeah, that was, and then when I left, they still gave me a little bit to leave with, because the program. So you paid your first 3 months was free. Then it was $300. Then it went up to $500 or $600 3 months after that. It went up
like $100 each time.
Okay, but then when you graduated from the program, they gave you 75% of the money back. Yeah. So, which I thought was freaking amazing.
Most definitely.
And it was, the process of getting in, showing up every day, weekly for interview program, and going through the basics. I think also showed like a level of commitment of like, damn, we really want this. Like, we showing up.
Man, I'll just say this: my aha moment when I first moved into an apartment is when something spilled, and I went looking for the broom. I said, I ain't got one. Yeah. The things you take for granted, you think brooms appear out of nowhere. I need to do an independent city type curriculum to see how many people don't realize how much you got to work for the smallest things, from a can opener to a broom.
Ooh, can opener with the knife on top of another can.
He was raised in the wilderness. I ain't not a never.
No, you because we never had the good can opener, so they all used to pop.
My trauma is the miscellaneous drawers with 5 broken can openers. Yeah. Why are we keeping all these can openers? Yeah.
But get the butcher knife, another can around the edge. Boom, boom, boom.
Next episode: How to Survive Foster Care with Keymon and
Boom, boom, boom. And then
what about tying the shoestring on the fan face because it was falling off?
I didn't do that one.
Oh, you not black?
Nah, I didn't do that.
You not black?
Nah, we just had good fans.
That's because you didn't have to pay rent.
No, but I'm gonna tell you this though. I had to for hot water, definitely had to boil hot water. And it was one point our tub wasn't working, so I had to get put water from the sink, go throw it in there and take the bath. And we didn't have a bathroom light, so I had if I took a bath after the sun went out, that shit had to stay open for the little bit of light I was gonna get. I'm telling you, but again though, man, like when I think about it, as I share these moments, it was like we wouldn't think those moments would shape us to be who we are today. Yeah. But we also walked outside and there was no comparison to anyone. Mm-hmm. Like, we just knew what went down in our household, and it was a survival thing.
It was, and you know what? And sometimes, don't get me wrong, I find myself rigging stuff now, and I'm like, go on and throw that away and just go buy the thing, whatever that thing is, right? Yeah. Like, remember putting batteries in the freezer? Who told us that it was going to retain the life of the battery? Like, why do we do
people
that?
Still do that, I think. I feel like
I can't. Anyway, y'all.
It's
been a journey.
Yeah, it's been a journey.
But at the end of the day, we've survived it, and we're still surviving it, and only got one thing to say: Why be negative?